we are working on a new musical called To the Streets, which is going to be touring in 2024. This is a little preview for everyone, really. It's not the full thing, but it's a little preview.
I mean, you can see this fantastic site around me, and this is by far the biggest show we've ever made in this kind of outdoor context.
And this event is an extraordinary thing that has been made by an amazingly diverse group of people.
Sticks and stones can break my bones.
So 4 years ago, I was in the Edinburgh Festival with the director, Chris Hayden. We went for a coffee. We were working on another show up there together. And at the time, China Plate and some other partners were looking for new ideas for new British musicals. That morning, Chris had read an article about the bus boycott, and he said, what about this? This sounds like a really great idea for a musical.
My jaw dropped when I read this article because I didn't know anything about this event. I've always considered myself to be quite politically minded, quite progressively minded, but this event was completely new to me. And so this story felt incredibly exciting as a story in itself, and it's a story that's really hopeful, and it's a story, you know, of success, and that's where it started.
A march, Partner City.
Bus sitting.
A bus boycott?
Yes, Pearl, a bus boycott.
Well, I think with this show particularly, there were two things that were glaringly obvious. One, I'm not a writer, and two, I'm not black, and I'm certainly not a musician. So it was really important that we got exceptional artists involved in the show. So the first thing we did was find the composer, and I didn't know Tim Sutton at the time, but Tim had been doing work on other projects with China Plate, I think.
It was very fun to meet Chris and to talk about his passion for the story. I was able to talk to him about my history because my dad is from Bristol, my mum is from Jamaica. My granddad was a technical drawer for the company that produced the buses. So when I was approached to do it, I thought, I've got to do it. And we very quickly hit it off and decided that we should start writing the show. And then it was a question of finding a book writer, which is when Roy Williams came on board.
I haven't done anything like this before. This is my first book I've written to a musical. It's a bit of a learning curve for me, but I'm enjoying it. One thing I learned about it was whatever song is there, the characters are singing it because they can't express it any other way.
Rubber coming tight and it seems so strong, it go bust me wide and I just can't hope fi hide it, no.
I learned a lot and I relied a lot on Tim's expertise because he's done this before.
All these things just come together like a puzzle, you know. They assemble themselves quite at random, but you know, if you keep working at it, you know, in a day you have most of a song that you can share with people, and then there's the process of refining, shaping. Then you can build outwards in all directions.
The Birmingham Hippodrome got excited about it, which completely transformed the way we were thinking about the show, because if you're thinking about a show for a 600-seat theatre, you imagine it on one scale. When you're thinking about it for a 1,900-seat theatre, suddenly the show grows in scale. And so when we made the decision to partner with the Hippodrome, that was a very concrete decision to go, okay, it's going to have to be a much bigger show. And therefore, the development for that is going to take longer. So when B22, the Commonwealth Games cultural offering, said they wanted to be involved, that felt like a really, really good opportunity. They were, you know, obviously there was financial support there, but also a lot of creative support to help us make the show.
What would come next would then be about workshop weeks, you know, in terms of taking the cast and a draft script into a rehearsal room at the Hippodrome, trying it out. Does the story work? Do the characters work? What do we need to learn that we don't know? So that was the first part, and Tim played some of the songs through, tested them, and that gave us the structure of what has become the concert musical this year, but also a skeleton structure for what we hope a full stage musical might be in years to come. We then realised that was wonderful, but outdoors we needed choreography to be a really strong part of the story. We had the wonderful Rhymes on board with us.
So at the beginning of the year, I had an R&D, so research and development, that was really focused on the dance, heard the music, which is amazing, and just got to be in a studio with a group of dancers for about a week and just played. A lot of my job is playing, so I just added that. Loads of different dance styles. I'm quite versatile as a choreographer and like to use many dance styles. So yeah, I just played with those dancers in a room and just kind of went back and forth to interrogate, what do I want to say? How do I want to display it? What do I want it to mean? Yeah, it was really, really just having fun with it. It takes a particular leader, it takes a particular creative, it takes a particular mindset to do what we've done. I'm glad to be one of those minds that have done that.
We've really been wanting to make sure that the project lands in the communities that it's going to in the right way. So that hence the decision not to do this in a theatre, but to bring it here into Handsworth, into the park.
We need you. Cricket. Oh, for God's sake.
So the musical being outdoors and in different locations, that was not without its challenges, as you can imagine, right the way from creating the right space of audiences could see the stage, but also from pure health and safety and the way we manage audiences. So all that came into play for the whole experience. And it was a short turnaround because the musical was still being written whilst we were developing content, so it wasn't finished, ready to go. It was written pretty much up to just a couple of weeks before they went live. So you can imagine working on a live project. It's what we're used to, but it came with its challenges, but so proud to see it actually played out to the audience, and the audience reaction was phenomenal.
And for those that don't know us, maybe it's your first time here, my name is Harry Maggs, and my beautiful wife here is Pearl.
Thank you, darling.
In terms of what myself and Denise are doing as Harry and Pearl during this concert version of the show, we're narrating it. As actors, we call breaking the fourth wall and speaking to the audience, slightly kind of presentational.
And there she was.
And my favourite moment in the production is Harry and Pearl, the duet, and my moments with Pearl, even the little moments at the side of the stage where we have kind of a little bit of subtext going on as we're watching the rest of the story.
And it's a really important message, because to think that 60 years ago, we would not be able to work together, we wouldn't be able to hug and kiss and cuddle, and now we're in a position where we're able to do that.
A ballad of Harry and Pearl.
Oh, I thought the performance of To the Streets was absolutely joyous, absolutely joyous.
Blew my mind, really. I'd seen the kind of imagery for months in the Hippodrome when I'd kind of been passing, so to see it now actually kind of on its feet was just incredible.
I really like the music. I like the mix between obviously sad, thought-provoking moments and also the elements of comedy. I thought the balance was very good.
It's so good, it made me cry.
So where could it go next? I think the opportunities are massive. You know, it started off as a community project, but I think the opportunity for how it could grow and what it could become is going to be very interesting to see.
It's time to show what we're feeling.
This has been a really brilliant way for us to explore how the music works and how the story is carried by the music. And then Tim and I can take that back to Roy and he can think through how that will shape the book as a whole.
And then, fingers crossed, our ambitions are that if that's successful, we might be able to take this show into London, into the West End. And, you know, there's even been talk of maybe making a movie of it one day.